So we had a little bit of a baby movement scare over the weekend. The background of the story is on Saturday I had a super busy day. So super busy for someone who sleeps like half the day. We got up super early, we went for a long walk in the kind of forest, and there were a lot of kind of like inclines and stuff like that. And then we came home, got ready, went straight away went to IKEA to look for like baby furniture and stuff like that and some wardrobes. So we were there for a good few hours, and then we came home. I thought, oh, it's too late to nap or sleep. I'm going to stay awake. So I stayed awake and just blitzed the entire house. So I was shattered. And I didn't really feel... I felt a few baby movements, but not too many. But I thought it's because I'm so busy, like I'm rocking the baby to sleep. And I didn't notice it so much, so I was preoccupied. Before bed then, my routine is have a shower, moisturise my bump, and then get into bed and feel the movements. And I did that, and I felt the movements, but they didn't feel as strong as they normally were. But I thought, oh, that's probably because I've had such like a super busy day. And then I normally only sleep for about 3 to 4 hours at a time. I just can't sleep. I felt a few movements during the night, but again, quite weak. My partner woke up at around 5 o'clock, and every morning it's the same routine. So he always like feels the bump and feels the movements and stuff like that. And he was like, "Oh, the baby's moving around, but it doesn't feel as strong." I was like, "Yeah, it just confirmed kind of what I was thinking." So I was like, "Right, okay, I got on the phone straight away and rang triage." My experience with the triage midwife, I called them about 5:45, and she picked up the phone literally on the third ring, which is amazing. And I kind of proceeded to tell her how I was concerned about the weakness of the baby's kicks, and her response was, "Oh, maybe it's just having a lie-in because it's a Sunday." And then she asked me other questions. She said, "Have I gone in the bath and had a cold glass of water and concentrated on feeling the movements?" And I just explained, like, I've been so paranoid throughout the whole pregnancy that I haven't actually had a bath. I've washed. I've just been showering. And I always drink lots of water, so I drank water and I'd been concentrating on the movements, and my partner had felt them. So she said she couldn't reassure me over the phone, so to head straight down. So we got our stuff ready and we headed straight down. When I say ready, just wrapped my clothes on, let the dog out. Poor dog didn't know what was going on, and then left. So we got to the hospital before 7. I think it was about 7:15 in the morning or something. And as we pulled in the car park, James Arthur, My Heartbeat, is it My Heartbeat? About his little baby was on the radio, which is such a coincidence, so cute. So we parked in the car park. We were able to find a space and stuff. It was super quiet, so we got in the hospital. And they took me to, we didn't know if my partner would be allowed to go in, but he was allowed to come in. And they took us into like a booth. We had our own separate little room, and there was no one else on the ward. It was super organised. They had like my notes on the bed and everything, and they just explained. Initially we had a student midwife, and she was super lovely, and she just explained kind of what was going to happen. I was taking my midwifery notes as well, and then she just checked all my details and just went through everything. So she said, "We're going to check the baby's heart rate, and not to panic if she couldn't find it straight away, because it's still quite small." So her kind of saying some of that was reassuring, because those few seconds when they're trying to find the heartbeat and they can't find it, oh god, it's gut wrenching. It's like so nerve wracking. And then they use these strips. They gave them to me, so if I go in again, I've got my own. So this one, the blue one, this one here, that there, it goes around your stomach, and they've got like a little disc thing which goes on top of this, and this one measures, from memory, the heart rate. And then you have a pink one on as well. It's just pink, and it's got like a little thing like that, which just wraps around over the top. and this one is to measure if you're having contractions. So she said it's mainly used when people have epidurals and they can't feel if they're having contractions, and that'll kind of let the doctor know. No. And then I had a little like alarm thing in my hand which I had to press every time the baby moved. So I was led on the bed, they put the straps around me, hooked me up to the machine, found the heart rate, and she had a little bit of difficulty finding the heart rate initially. Like she'd find it and then strap me in, and then the baby would move. So she went to get the midwife, and then the midwife, she had a little bit of difficulty finding it, but then she found it, and then they secured the straps, and then I had this in my hand then when I pressed the buzzer every time the baby moved. But literally as soon as I lay down in the bed, the baby was kicking like crazy. So if that had happened when I was at home, I wouldn't have gone to hospital, but it's better to be safe than sorry and not go. I had to stay there for 20 minutes while they took a trace of the heartbeat. So they keep you hooked up for the 20 minutes in order for them to do a trace, so they can just analyse the baby's heart rate. And then you're next to this machine, and it's just fascinating. Like I could see the baby's heart rate. It just fascinates me to think I've got another I've got a human in me with its heart beating. It's just amazing. And then after the 20 minutes, she took my blood pressure, gave a urine sample, everything came back clear, and the midwife was like, this baby's moving around perfectly. Because, also on with the little disc thing where they're measuring the baby's heart rate, when they had like the volume up so you can hear the heart rate initially. And then they can also hear the baby moving, so it makes a different kind of sound. And the midwife was like, this baby's absolutely fine, it's moving around, and which was reassuring, so that was great. And I just waited in the booth then for about 10 minutes after giving the samples, and she wrote up my notes and gave me which went into my midwifery notes, and that was it. Then we were able to go home. The midwife expressed to me that upon leaving the hospital, if I felt like the baby's movements felt different, or I had the same concerns, or even the following evening or the next day, just don't hesitate, give us a call. We'd rather you come in 1,000 times and nothing be wrong than you not come in that one time and then something be wrong. So the hospital midwife's advice versus my sister's advice, and she's also a midwife. The hospital midwife said the frequency, so she said at 29 weeks, the strength of the kicks is not to do so much with the strength of the kicks, it's to do with the frequency and the pattern. So she said if it normally moves in the morning or the afternoon, or you've got a set pattern and it hasn't, that's what you need to be looking at, rather than the strength, because they're changing, they're getting bigger and they're moving, they've got less space to move around. Whereas my sister said that the frequency and the strength of the kicks should be the same. She said it may feel different the further along you get, because instead of like the kicks, sometimes you're going to get like prods and pokes and shuffling as it's like kind of turning around and moving position. But she said anything that feels different, give them a call, don't mess about and just go in. My sister doesn't agree with the drink the glass of water approach. So the advice that I've been given is if you're not feeling the baby move, drink a glass of water, concentrate, and then you'll be able to feel the baby. You should feel the baby moving. But my sister explained it really well, actually. She said if say for instance I wasn't well and then someone chucked over a glass of water over me, then I'd move, but I'd go back to being unwell after it. She said in comparison to the baby, if the baby's distressed or ill and you drink water, it may move, but it's going to go back to being distressed or ill. Overall, it was a scary experience, and it's such a coincidence because a few days beforehand I've been thinking, I haven't had a problem with the movements, they're quite regular, everything feels great, and then that happens a few days afterwards. But yeah, my main takeaway from kind of the weekend and going to the hospital and speaking to different practitioners, and obviously my sister, is to trust your instinct. And for me, I think if anything feels different, if the kicks feel weaker, if something just doesn't feel right, I'm just going to get in contact with the hospital triage straight away and to be seen, because like the midwife said, they'd rather see me like 1,000 times and nothing be wrong than not see me that one time and then there be something wrong. Yeah.
and protein in the urine. Your blood pressure's fine. What's your blood pressure normally? Do you know release? And your blood, have you got your notes there?